Zach, news just broke that he's dealing with an injury. Can you walk us through what's going on there?
Yeah, Zach has a foot injury. It's the same foot that bothered him. It required surgery a year ago. At the moment, it doesn't require surgery, but he's going to be out for what we estimate about 4 weeks, 1 month. I don't think it's possible for him to be back with us playing before that, simply because of the healing process and just us making sure that if in fact he's able to join us at that point, that he's been able to have enough recovery time and healing. But we are very optimistic that he'll join us in and around that month plus. So if you kind of do the math on that, I think late February, early March, we're very optimistic. Again, with what we're being told, healing, et cetera, if all goes as we expect it, that we can have him back with us down the very, very home stretch of our season. I don't want to make light of the fact that he's not with us. I mean, it's a significant change in our team. It's a significant change in our offense. I mean, he's a guy that right now is averaging 18 points and 9 rebounds per game, and I think settled in to play maybe his best basketball of his career, especially on the offensive end. So, without him, it's not like we just next man up and we're good. I think that we're going to have to do a number of different things to make up for his absence. And again, I think optimistically, we look towards at some point his ability to return. So I think that's all I have right now, and I think that's the most accurate information. As always with injuries, sometimes it goes a little bit better than you expect. Sometimes it goes the opposite. We're just hopeful, and that number that I gave you, a month, I think is a really safe number that I think allows us to feel good about him potentially being a part of what we do at that point.
And that means obviously Jerome Hunter's going to have to step up. Cesar Edwards is probably going to see an expanded role here. What are you sort of telling those guys that are going to fill that void?
So, I think the first thing when somebody gets injured and is out for a period of time, it's not the one player that all of a sudden, has to become so much different than he already is. That's sometimes where a team veers off on the wrong direction. I'll use Jerome as the example. A lot of the things that make Jerome such a good player is he knows his role and he does it every game. I believe this. I think that Jerome's going to play more minutes now. But if he plays more minutes at the same level in the same way that he's played, that's going to be not only in his best interest but our team's. I think that there's times where we've played small this year. Virtually in every game at some point we've shown that lineup. With Zach available, we don't do it nearly as much. But with him not available, I think we look to do that a little bit more. And with that, players like Des Claude, Kiki Tandy, potentially Cam Kraft are going to have more of an opportunity, especially Des. Ditto for what I said about Jerome. Des doesn't have to all of a sudden be completely different. He just has to be able to embrace playing more minutes and continuing to develop and do some of the things, for example, that he did at UConn for a longer period of time. So I would say that my biggest concern without Zach is defensive rebounding. He has virtually double the defensive rebounds as anybody on our team in Big East play. There's a couple candidates, Kobe Jones, Jack Nungy, certainly Jerome as he plays more, and then really everybody who plays, our guards. It's not easy to make up for somebody who gets that many defensive rebounds per game. So especially with who we play tomorrow, Providence, that's one of their great strengths. That's where it starts for us. Can we rebound effectively, and can we rebound as good without somebody like Zach?
You talked about this quite a bit on your radio show last night. Providence is a team that shoots a ton of free throws. I think they've made more free throws this year than their opponents have even attempted. They're a really good offensive rebounding team. What's the conversation with your team like in terms of, hey, these are the things we need to take care of in order to beat Providence?
No question. They're number one in our league in getting to the free throw line. And it's not really even close. Sometimes when you look at that, you have to look at who's below them, and you see there's 3 teams virtually the same. In the Big East Conference, that's not the case. The team that gets to the free throw line the most, by far, is Providence. And they have a player, Hopkins, on their team who, if he's not the Big East Player of the Year, he's certainly one of our top players in the league. And he himself has shot double the amount of free throws that Sule Boom has shot in conference play. So if you think about Sule getting to the line, especially in those wins late in the game, Sule has shot 44. I think Hopkins has shot 80. So, when you're double, and then, they also have Devin Carter, who has shot 20 more free throws than Sule. So you had just those 2 guys alone, being able to keep them off the foul line, not let them get there 6 and 8 times a game. That's almost 14 times a game that those 2 guys shoot free throws. What's unique about our conference, we just played against Creighton. They're one of the nation's best teams in not fouling. That's when we had the ball. And now a team that we guard, a team that has the ball against us, Providence, they're one of the best teams in the country in getting fouled. So it's just like so many different things in a 5-day window. But I would say defensive rebounding and how many free throws they shoot against us are 2 huge stats for us. And their offensive rebounding is a big reason why they do get to the free throw line so much.
Talked to you about this at Big East Media Day. You have a history with Ed Cooley. I was wondering, could you walk us through that history and what it's going to be like to coach against him now in the Big East?
Yeah, I knew Ed more as a coaching friend for many, many years, probably almost 2 decades. But him and I got to know each other a lot better. We went back-to-back summers with 2 young Team USA teams, under 17 team where Ed and I were assistant coaches for Billy Donovan, and we won a gold medal together. The following summer, we were going to return to our same role, and then Billy went and became the Oklahoma City Thunder coach. So I then became the head coach, and really Ed, myself, and my brother, we went to Crete, Greece. I guess that was the summer of 2015, and it was one of the great experiences I've ever had in life, especially when it comes to sports. We were together for virtually 8 to 10 hours a day for a 5-week period of time, maybe 6 weeks. And we ended up winning the gold medal in overtime by 1 point. Had an amazing young team led by, Jason Tatum, a number of other guys on that team who are currently in the NBA. But you really get to know somebody in that setting. And really, once we did that, Ed and I have become really good friends. I look at him as a great friend, and somebody that I just really respect off the court, but he's also an exceptional coach.